Did you know that June isn't just the start of summer? It's also the month when millions of fans around the globe come together in quiet corners of the internet and in vibrant, creative bursts to celebrate one man whose life and legacy have transcended cinema. That man is Johnny Depp, and if you've ever followed his journey from the dizzying heights of fame to the shadows of controversy and back again, then you already understand why this month holds so much meaning. It's not just about cake, candles, or celebrity. It's about loyalty. It's about shared memories. And above all, it's about recognizing the resilience of a man who has endured everything the world threw at him and somehow still stood tall, vulnerable, and gracious, without bitterness. For those who have rooted for Johnny through every phase of his career, whether you discovered him as the mysterious Edward Scissorhands, the rebellious Captain Jack Sparrow, the poetic Don Juan, or even through his soulful music with the Hollywood vampires, June becomes more than just a birthday month. It becomes a symbolic space to reflect on his journey, his humanity, and the deep emotional connection fans feel toward him. This connection isn't born solely from his work. It's born from what he's lived through and how he's carried himself through it all. There's something very raw, very real about Johnny that people cling to. He's not polished in the Hollywood sense, and that's exactly why so many admire him. He's imperfect, authentic, and entirely himself, unapologetically. If you've ever felt like you were the only one still clapping for him when others walked away, when headlines became hostile, when rumors outpaced truth, know this: you're not alone. There's a vast, deeply interconnected network of fans around the world who have quietly but powerfully held space for Johnny Depp. This video, this celebration, is for them, for you, and for everyone who believes that a person's story shouldn't be reduced to a single chapter, no matter how loud that chapter became. Johnny was born on June 9, 1963 in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's a simple fact, one that would usually be a line in a biography or a trivia answer. But over the decades, that date has evolved. It's not just his birthday, it's an event. Every year, June 9th becomes a global tribute. Fans plan for it weeks in advance. Some design original art and animation to post on social media. Others create fan edits with montages of his films or moments that moved them. Some fans write heartfelt letters, some bake cakes decorated with his characters or his guitar. There are even families who have adopted June 9th as a personal day of celebration, where they'll re-watch a Johnny Depp classic with their loved ones. It's joyful, creative, emotional, and all of it feels deeply earned. One of the most striking things about this celebration is its sincerity. Unlike many celebrity birthdays that are acknowledged with a quick tweet or a throwback post, Johnny's birthday becomes an immersive, fan-driven event. On Twitter, you'll see the hashtag #HappyBirthdayJohnnyDepp trend worldwide. And it's not just a hashtag, it's a wave. The June 9th wave, as fans affectionately call it, starts rolling as soon as the clock strikes midnight in Australia and New Zealand. From there, each time zone joins in, creating a 24-hour digital tide of gratitude, art, photos, videos, and love. By the time the sun sets in California, there are millions of messages from people across the globe who just want to say, thank you. And what's remarkable is that Johnny has acknowledged this outpouring of support in various ways over the years. While he tends to be a private person and rarely uses social media in a traditional sense, he's made heartfelt statements in interviews and fan meet and greets. He has paused during press tours to thank his fans, not just for watching his movies, but for standing by him when things got rough. There's a genuine sense that he understands the magnitude of that loyalty and doesn't take it for granted. In an industry where fans are often treated as fleeting currency, Johnny treats them like family. There's something deeply moving about how fans interpret Johnny's birthday, not just as a celebration of him, but as a reflection of what he means to them personally. For many, Johnny isn't just a talented actor. He's a symbol of survival, of holding on to your identity in a world that tries to mold you into something else. People who've struggled with mental health, addiction, public shaming, or simply feeling misunderstood often find comfort in Johnny's story. His vulnerability, whether in his roles or in real life, gives people permission to be vulnerable too. That's why this month becomes a ritual, almost like lighting a candle for someone you believe in. And while most fans celebrate online, some take it further. One woman in Australia has been planting a tree each year on Johnny's birthday since 2011, she now has a small grove of trees which she calls her Depp Forest, symbolizing growth, grounding, and long-term love. Other fan groups organize charity drives in Johnny's name, donating to children's hospitals, animal welfare organizations, and environmental causes he supports. These acts aren't for publicity. They're quiet, sincere ways to mirror the compassion fans believe Johnny would show if he were in their shoes. In some countries, fans even gather in person for what they call Depp Nights, screenings of his films followed by discussions, music, or art exhibits. These aren't massive conventions, but intimate, grassroots celebrations. They share personal stories, talk about their favorite scenes, and sometimes even connect over hardships they've endured, drawing strength from the very same resilience they see in Johnny. But perhaps the most poignant part of June is that it's not just about celebrating Johnny's birth. It's also about honoring everything he's survived. Over the past decade especially, Johnny has faced one of the most public and painful battles in modern celebrity history. The court cases, the media scrutiny, the public backlash, the lost roles, the emotional toll, it was a storm that would have swallowed most people whole. But not Johnny. Through every blow, he remained true to himself. He never lashed out. He didn't run to tabloids or try to spin the narrative. Instead, he leaned on his art, on his music, and on the fans who never stopped believing in him. That takes an extraordinary amount of grace and inner strength, and that's why June, for many fans, has also become a symbol of rebirth. A time to acknowledge how far Johnny has come and how far his fans have come with him. It's not unusual to see fans post messages like, "You survived another year and so did I," as a reminder that this connection isn't just about admiration, it's mutual inspiration. Fans don't just celebrate Johnny, they draw courage from his story to face their own challenges. There's even an unofficial online archive, a kind of digital time capsule, where fans anonymously upload birthday letters they've written to Johnny each year. These letters range from heartfelt thanks to deeply personal confessions. Some are funny, filled with inside jokes from decades of fandom. Others are emotional, like one letter from a teenager who said Johnny's performances gave her the strength to speak again after trauma. When you read through them, you realize just how profound this connection is. It's not just fan culture, it's human connection. Celebrity analysts have taken note of Johnny's fandom, often pointing out how rare it is to see this level of long-term loyalty. One culture expert noted, "Johnny Depp's fans don't just consume his content, they walk through fire with him." That emotional investment, she said, is what makes this fan base so unique. They don't care if he's trending. They don't care about the mainstream. They care about the man behind the myth. And they show up every single year. What makes this even more powerful is that Johnny has consistently used his platform to uplift others, even in times when he was struggling himself. Whether visiting children's hospitals dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow or surprising fans with personal messages, he gives back in ways that feel deeply authentic. His connection to music, poetry, and storytelling also creates a multidimensional space where fans can meet him, not just as a movie star, but as a fellow human navigating life's chaos. June then becomes a mirror for everything Johnny has given to the world and everything his fans have given back. It's a mutual celebration of survival, artistry, and love. It's a month-long meditation on what it means to hold on to your truth when the world demands conformity, and that's something that speaks not just to fans, but to anyone who's ever felt like they had to fight to be themselves. It's not just about a birthday or a hashtag or even a Hollywood icon. It's about a man who has stood at the edge of ridicule, cancellation, and despair, and didn't fall. It's about the way Johnny Depp has represented more than a character in a costume. He's embodied contradiction, softness and grit, tenderness, and fire, vulnerability, and strength. In many ways, the celebration that unfolds every June is as much a tribute to the fans' ability to see the person behind the headlines as it is to the person himself. Because Johnny's story, full of dizzying highs and catastrophic lows, reflects the very human experience of falling apart and finding your way back. Fans often speak of how Johnny inspired them to express themselves more freely, whether through art, music, writing, or simply how they dress. His courage has given people permission to stop hiding. That's the impact of someone who lives authentically, even when that authenticity comes at a cost. For some, Depp's quiet rebellion against Hollywood norms, his refusal to be polished and perfect, sends a louder message than any speech could. He reminds people that beauty lies in flaws, that true character is revealed when things fall apart, not when everything's easy. Each June becomes a slow-burning tribute to that authenticity. The posts, the letters, the watch parties, they're all part of a larger emotional mosaic, stitched together by millions of individual hands. Some fans are new to the journey, drawn in by recent events or rediscovered films, while others have been there since the early days of 21 Jump Street, when Johnny himself was still trying to figure out who he wanted to be. That generational range speaks volumes. He's not just a passing trend. His story, his presence, has grown with his audience. And because of that, the celebration in June feels deeply personal to so many. The term mutual celebration really does feel like the only way to describe it. Because fans haven't just stood by Johnny during the good times. They were there when he was being torn apart publicly, piece by piece. They watched as opportunities disappeared, as judgment passed like wildfire through social media and mainstream outlets. They defended him not because he asked them to, but because something in their gut said, "This isn't the full story." And when the tide began to turn, slowly, subtly, it wasn't with vengeance or bitterness. It was with grace, with hope, with open arms ready to say, "Welcome back." There's something powerful about that kind of loyalty, the kind that doesn't flinch in the face of controversy, not blind devotion but thoughtful, patient belief. It's the kind of support that transforms fame into legacy. Johnny's impact is no longer limited to box office numbers or awards. His legacy lives in people who dared to believe in kindness even when the world didn't reward it. It lives in those who found a sense of identity in his work or comfort, in his words or bravery, in his defiance. It lives in every piece of fan art drawn at midnight, in every letter sent from across the globe, in every donation made in his name. To watch the online communities come alive in June is to witness a kind of digital symphony. It's not just noise, it's harmony. Some fans share stories of how Johnny helped them through depression, anxiety, loss. Others simply say he makes them feel seen, like someone out there understands. And for each message posted, there are dozens more quietly felt but never spoken. That's the unseen magic of fandom. It gives people a space to feel less alone, a sense of shared experience, bound not just by admiration, but by empathy. This empathy is what truly sets Depp's fan base apart. In many celebrity circles, support can feel transactional. Fans praise a star when they're winning and fall silent when they're not. But with Johnny, the connection seems to have matured into something more resilient. Maybe it's because he's always given his fans a piece of his soul, whether in a whispered line in Finding Neverland, a raw courtroom moment, or a late-night stage performance with a guitar in his hands. He never seemed to wear a mask to appease the world. He just showed up, flaws and all, and in return the world, at least a part of it, has shown up for him too. Every June is a reminder of that quiet contract, the unspoken bond between a man who never stopped being himself and the millions of people who saw him for exactly who he was and said, "We're still here." The symbolism of June extends even further when we consider its place in the calendar. It's the month when spring gives way to summer, when nature completes its slow, deliberate thaw and bursts into full bloom. The days grow longer, the skies stretch wider, and everything feels just a little bit more alive. It's a time when the world sheds its final layers of cold and hesitance and steps confidently into warmth and light. In that context, Johnny Depp's birthday, June 9th, feels profoundly symbolic. It doesn't just mark the birth of a person. For many fans, it signals the start of something internal, something emotional. It's a cue to awaken parts of themselves they may have buried during colder seasons of life, and to reflect on the journey they've taken, both with Johnny and within themselves. For those who follow Johnny's career and personal story closely, June represents a kind of emotional bloom. It's a reminder that growth doesn't always come from peace and comfort. Sometimes it's the storms that shape us most. Johnny's public life has been filled with beautiful triumphs, yes, but also with deeply painful struggles, many of which have played out in the harsh light of media scrutiny. And yet, he has remained. He has continued to create, to perform, to smile with humility in interviews, to thank fans from the heart, to stand tall even when everything tried to break him down. That kind of perseverance inspires something deep in people. It shows them what it means to carry scars with grace, to survive with a sense of self intact. Fans often talk about how being drawn into Johnny's world helped them face parts of themselves they had once hidden or denied. Whether it was discovering their own creativity, learning to embrace their sensitivity, or simply realizing that it's okay not to fit in, the connection has been transformative. That's why June feels like more than just a marker on the calendar. It becomes a spiritual checkpoint, a pause to take stock, to look back at how far they've come, and to recommit to the path ahead. In celebrating Johnny's birthday, they're also celebrating the person they've become by walking beside his story. It's not just about admiration. It's about evolution. His and theirs, intertwined in ways that only art and truth can make possible. And yet, the celebration isn't loud. It's not plastered across billboards or endorsed by media empires. It's quiet, heartfelt, organic. It lives in whispered messages. Between friends, in candlelit tributes, in carefully edited videos scored with emotional music. These acts aren't driven by fame, they're driven by love, and they happen every year without fail, like a ritual that says, you matter, you always have. That, more than anything, is the power of this month. It brings into sharp focus the kind of relationship Johnny has built with his supporters, not built on marketing or image management, but on something deeper, something harder to define. It's connection. A sense of mutual recognition between a man who never quite fit the mold and the people who never wanted the mold to begin with. When fans light candles or write poems or even just watch one of his films with someone they love, they're not just honoring a birthday, they're affirming an idea. That it's okay to be different, that it's okay to struggle, that you can be broken and brilliant at the same time, and that, with the right people by your side, even the most painful chapters of your story can lead to something beautiful. So, when June rolls around and the hashtags start trending and the letters pour in, it's more than just noise. It's a statement. A collective heartbeat that says, we remember. We believe. We celebrate, not just because of who Johnny Depp is, but because of what he's helped us discover in ourselves. As we move through this special month, I want to ask you, what's your favorite Johnny Depp moment? Was it a scene in a movie? A quote that stuck with you? A moment he shared in real life that made you feel seen? Was it the way he smiled during a red carpet walk or the way he waved at fans from a courtroom window? Maybe it was the way he carried himself with dignity, even when everything seemed to fall apart. Whatever that moment is, share it. Because those stories, those small moments, are the heartbeat of this community. And if this video spoke to you, if it made you smile or reminded you of why you became a fan in the first place, go ahead and like it. Subscribe for more deep dives like this because we've got plenty more stories, interviews, and behind-the-scenes looks at Johnny's life and legacy coming your way. And don't miss our next feature, the 5 times Johnny Depp proved he's nothing like the characters he plays. It's filled with unexpected insights and 1 or 2 moments that may just surprise even the most loyal fans. Thanks for watching. Thanks for remembering. And most of all, thank you for being part of something that, like Johnny himself, just keeps going, no matter what. Stay kind, stay curious, and happy June to all the Johnny fans out there. You're not just celebrating a man, you're celebrating the resilience that lives in all of us.